fear of losing has been effective in paralyzing principled voters in this country for some time, Sam. Sam Kephart is a man that I would consider a principled voter and one who has not succumbed to that fear. But Sam, we hear the mantra of the moderates in the Republican Party who use the fear argument to neutralize principled candidates and principled voters. And the way they do it is to say, you have to vote for the moderate or we'll lose. And in reality, what happens when we vote for the moderate? We lose.
Well, are people saying that we can never have a Ronald Reagan moment in this country? Because that guy got Democrats to vote for him, and that's how he got in office.
Yes, and
that's a fact.
And how did he do that?
He was straight with people.
He was straight with people. Even people who disagreed with Ronald Reagan.
They liked his straightness.
Yes, they did. It was refreshing, and it was something that they weren't seeing much of. Now, can you, well, we can name a few principled leaders, but frankly, the leadership in the Republican Party, in the House and the Senate, I got to say, when I look at them as leaders, they are more inclined to use the fear motivation to bring conservatives into the ranks of moderates than they are to bring principles into politics.
Well, with all due respect to John Boehner, who I'm sure works very hard and obviously has some intellectual capacity, and Mitch McConnell, who I haven't figured out at all, is that the best we've got to offer? Really? I'm asking, is that the best we have to offer?
Well, my answer would be absolutely not.
And are they iconic for the principles of the United States?
But see, what happens...
I think not.
And I've seen...
With all due respect.
I've seen from the inside the mechanics of this political machine. And guys like John Boehner, who I believe is a compromised, self-serving politician. I'm just calling that like I see it. I believe that they are effective in using this political machine to manipulate people with fear and intimidation. And they'll be saying things to their caucus members like, we have to be concerned about the next election. We have to be careful how we handle the debt ceiling or Obamacare or Benghazi because it could backfire on us. And I'm just sitting back here saying, will principled voters and principled leaders please stand up?
Well, it's interesting that you raise this thing about principle, because if we look at the foundations of the United States, and even though there were some of the founding fathers who really intensely disliked each other, I would say a lot of principle was flying around the back room in those days. What's happened to it?
Well, I believe that it is neutralized by this element of fear, because here's what their argument is. We have to compromise and not do the right thing so that we'll be in a position to do the right thing. That's the argument. And I believe the assertion that we need to...
Hold your nose vote and we'll get the extra seat.
Yes, so that we can do good. And I'm just saying, isn't the time about right for American leaders to stand up and say, we are simply going to do the right thing. We are going to apply principles inside the political arena, and we're going to let the results handle themselves, the results of re-election. Right. We aren't going to be concerned about engineering our next election. We have to be concerned about principled leadership that brings this country back to its senses.
Well, and articulates a vision. I'm still waiting for some Republican to touch, move, and inspire me. I haven't had that experience in the last several years. Anywhere. I'm waiting to be touched.
Not even on this set?
Touched, moved, or inspired. Articulate a vision. Don't tell me what's not working. Tell me what's going to work.
Yes, and I think...
And live it.
I think the answer is, what will work every time is men and women who will sacrificially take a principled position that is best for a country, even when it's detrimental to their own personal agenda or political future. That's a good place to start, and won't it be a happy day when we see leaders stepping up that embody that quality?